Tell me your name, tiny mortal, so I can give you a proper prize.
You ask me of my name. I am nobody. If anyone asks who blinded you, tell them it was Odysseus, king of Ithaca, conqueror of Troy.
Sometimes, returning home is more brutal than winning a war. In war, the enemy is right in front of you. You can see their blade. But when a god turns against you, every sea, every storm, every dream becomes a death sentence. Around the 8th century BC, the Greek poet Homer forged an epic that would echo for centuries. It began with a fierce war between Greece and Troy, sparked when the Trojan prince, Paris, stole the queen of Sparta, Helen. Odysseus answered the call to arms. This is the story of Odysseus. 10 years passed. Millions of soldiers were killed, but Troy's fort would not break until Odysseus made a strategy. The Trojan horse. A massive wooden horse was built, left behind by the Greeks as a fake gift of surrender. The people of Troy thought it was a sign of victory and brought it inside their city. But as night fell, the soldiers hidden inside came out and burned Troy to the ground. The war was over.
To the ships, one! Finally, we return to Ithaca.
Odysseus boarded his 12 ships and set sail for home. After 10 years of war, the journey should have been simple, but the gods had other plans. When the fleet reached the coast of Thrace, they came upon the land of the Ciconians. Hunger and opportunity drove the Greeks ashore. Odysseus and his men attacked with savage fury, overwhelming the city and looting everything they could carry. Amid the chaos, however, Odysseus spared a man named Marin, the high priest of Apollo. Grateful for his mercy, Marin presented Odysseus with a gift, a wineskin filled with an extraordinarily powerful wine. At the time, it seemed like nothing more than a token of thanks. In reality, it would one day save his life. But while the Greeks celebrated their victory, the surviving Ciconians were gathering reinforcements. What had begun as an easy raid soon became a desperate fight for survival. Warriors poured down from the surrounding hills, crashing into the Greeks with overwhelming force. As the sun began to set, he ordered a retreat back to the ships. Many of Odysseus's men were left behind, dead upon the shore. It was the first great loss of the journey home, and the first warning that the real nightmare had only just begun. Ithaca was somewhere beyond the horizon. Home was finally within reach. Then the sea turned against them. A violent storm scattered the fleet and drove the ships off course. For 9 days and 9 nights, the men battled relentless winds and towering waves, never knowing if they would see land again. When the storm finally broke, they found themselves on a strange island inhabited by the Lotus Eaters. The island seemed harmless. Its people welcomed the exhausted sailors and offered them a lotus flower. But the moment the men tasted it, everything changed. They forgot Ithaca. They forgot their families. They forgot why they had ever set sail. All they wanted was to remain on the island, drifting through a dream they never wished to leave. When Odysseus discovered what had happened, he acted immediately.
We are leaving this place.
He dragged the
now.
enchanted sailors back to the
Please,
ships,
let me go
ignoring
back.
their protests
Push the
and
ship
desperate
off.
pleas to
Now.
stay behind. Some fought him, some wept. But Odysseus knew the island offered no paradise, only oblivion. Chained to their duty, but dying of thirst, they landed on a dark, rocky shore. Odysseus took 12 trusted warriors into a massive cave. They thought they found a sanctuary to refuel so they could finally reach their families. Instead, they walked into a slaughterhouse. The earth shook as the monster Polyphemus blocked the exit with a colossal stone. He was a son of Poseidon, and he held no respect for human life.
No one leaves this place.
We are guests of the sea.
If Odysseus died here, Penelope and Telemachus would be left defenseless forever. He needed a psychological weapon. He poured Marin's
Take this,
pure,
Cyclops,
lethal wine
and drink.
offered it to the giant as a gesture of peace.
Tell me your name, tiny mortal, so I can give you a proper prize.
You ask me of my name. I am nobody.
The monster collapsed into a heavy stupor. Odysseus and his men sharpened a massive wooden spear, heating the tip until it glowed red hot. With a synchronized scream, they drove it straight into the giant's single eye.
Nobody is killing me! Nobody is blinding me!
The neighboring
Polyphemus!
Cyclopes gathered outside the
Answer
boulder
us!
and shouted
Are you
back.
hurt? Nobody is killing me! Nobody is blinding me!
If nobody is harming
Who
you,
is
it
doing
must be a
this to
plague
you?
from Zeus.
He does not answer.
They escaped by clinging to the bellies of the giant's rams, slipping past his blind hands. They ran to the ships. But Odysseus, consumed by pride, couldn't stop himself from yelling back at his real name.
If anyone asks who blinded you, tell them it was Odysseus, king of Ithaca, conqueror of Troy.
Igniting a terrifying cosmic curse.
Father, Poseidon, hear my prayer. Never let that man see his wife again. Let him lose all his companions. Sail on a broken ship. And arrive home. And arrive home with a broken soul.
Poseidon heard his son's prayer. The waves became Odysseus' mortal enemy.